Hello Sunshine and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a spooky story for you. All the stories that I'm about to tell you and share with you guys are true stories that truly happened to us. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you get that notification when I upload another episode. Don't forget, you guys, to also follow all my social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We also have Threads. Also, let me share with you guys, I have another shirt on from Ruby Lou Boutique. And at checkout, don't forget to put our code Sunshine10 so you can get 10% off your order. This story in particular that I'm going to share with you guys happened to me when I went to Mexico. So sadly, I had to go to Mexico for a family emergency. My grandmother passed away. The next morning of my grandmother's passing, we had her funeral service. Sadly to say that I didn't take advantage of the opportunity to go see my grandmother when she was alive. And I remember that she would always tell me, Kimberly, ¿cuándo vas a venir a mi casa? ¿Cuándo vas a ver a mis animales? And my answer was always like, oh, I'll go soon, Grandma, I'll go soon. Sí voy a ir, sí voy a ir. But in time, I never went. Sadly, I didn't take advantage of the opportunity that I had. And I went when it was actually her funeral. I just packed my bags and went. That morning, we buried my grandmother. They literally buried them that same day, or if it happened at night, that next morning. That morning that we buried my grandmother, it was a beautiful service. There was mariachis. I always seen the cemeteries in YouTube, novelas. I never seen an actual Mexican cemetery till that day, sadly. I don't know if you guys have been to a funeral in Mexico, but I didn't know how completely different a funeral is out there compared to the ones that we have down here, up here, that we have here. When we laid my grandmother to rest, in the hole, I saw a gentleman go in the hole, and then after I seen that they were lowering my grandmother down. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know what was to expect after, but after a while I seen everybody looking down in the hole, and I was like, we've been out here for quite a while now. Why is it taking so long to put her down? Like, how deep is this graveyard? So when they buried my grandmother, I'm gonna call it a basement. I don't know what they call it out there, but it was actually like a basement with one hole in that is the size of a casket, and they lowered her down, put her in a wall, and then sealed it with bricks and cement. And when I looked down, it literally looked like a basement. It's not a one hole like the ones that we have here where they just lower the casket and put the dirt over. My great grandmother was already down there, and then here comes my grandmother. So my great grandmother's spot was already sealed with bricks and cement. And then when I was out there, I took my camera with me. I took my professional photographer camera with me, and I took pictures of everything. I took so many pictures with my camera because I didn't know when I was going to come back and I was going to see everything again. Also, when I was out there, a lot of my family members from here did go, and we did go eat a lot. We did go shopping, and thanks to some of my family members, they took us to different towns, to downtown Guadalajara. It was so beautiful. The vibe out there is so different, and I also got to take pictures out there. On the way back from downtown Guadalajara, I will never forget, we went on a bus, an autobus, and it's like a city bus. I felt like this ride took forever because it would make stop. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it felt like it was a 2-hour ride from downtown back to the pueblo from where my grandma and grandpa was from. I remember when we got on this bus, it was so full that people were standing in the aisle as they were getting on and off. So I took a nap. I remember I took a nap. When we got to my grandmother's pueblo, and I woke up, I got up from my chair. All I seen was my family members on the bus only. There was no other people on the bus. It was completely empty. Sadly, it came to an end of my trip to Mexico. It was the morning of us to come back home. That morning we had an early flight, and I remember we woke at the crack of dawn. It was pitch black outside, and I was ready. My bags and everything was ready to go. And the last thing I never took a picture of was my father's house. My father has a house in Mexico. That's where we all stayed at. And I said, for the last day, for my last picture in Mexico, I was like, oh, let me take a picture of my father's home, because I never took one during the day or at night. And I wanted to have a memory of his home as well, where I stayed. I never stayed in my father's home before. This was my first time going to Mexico to his new home. So I remember exactly how it happened. I remember that I crossed the street facing his home to take this picture, and I lifted up my camera to snap that picture, and I hit snap. This is the picture that I received. And then I looked at my camera and I was like, why is this picture so blurry? Like, why is it so blurry? I remember I stood out there for literally 2 minutes, and I was like, it cannot be my camera, because I've been using my camera this whole trip. It couldn't be my camera. Nobody touched my camera besides me. Nobody used my camera besides me. I remember everything was fine with my camera before. How could this have happened? How could this have happened? So what I did was I took a picture of the street to my left. And then I took a picture of the street to my right. Crystal clear. Crystal clear. And then I took a picture of my father's home again. Perfect. Perfect. I never questioned or asked anyone, why didn't this house let me take a picture of it for the first time? Is it because the house didn't like me? Is it because was it my camera? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Till this day, I sometimes share this story with my friends or my relatives. If you guys know a friend or have a friend that likes spooky stories, don't forget to share and tell them to subscribe to my channel so they can also see scary stories like these. And don't forget to also like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.